Coming up on OU Nightly, an aircraft out of our own Tinker Air Force Base was destroyed in an Iranian attack. Plus, TSA is getting back to normal with agents getting paid, but ICE will stick around. Find out why. And we got a look into the local No Kings protests over the weekend. This is OU Nightly. A military plane housed at Tinker Air Force Base in Midwest City was struck during a missile and drone attack by Iran in the Middle East. Thanks for joining us tonight on OU Nightly. I'm Kevin Daniel.
And I'm Lyndon Potter. OU Nightly's Colson Pocock is live in the newsroom with more. Colson?
Lyndon, photos show a military AWACS plane from Tinker Air Force Base in Midwest City destroyed in a strike Friday. Take notice of the letters OK on the tail of the plane. The missile and drone strike hit Prince Sultan Air Base, located just outside Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh. According to U.S. officials, around a dozen U.S. soldiers were injured in the attack. AWACS, which stands for Airborne Warning and Control System, have deep roots at Tinker, with the first models being sent there in the late 1970s. According to Tinker, there are 32 AWACS currently in U.S. inventory. 28 of them are housed at Tinker. Representative Tom Cole spoke to Fox 25 and says that they had not yet been briefed on the incident, but hopes the crews are okay. The Center for a New American Security calls AWACS the quarterback of the battlefield, saying they are indispensable to U.S. air operations. Kevin, Lyndon.
Thanks, Colson. TSA agents are beginning to see their paychecks today following a 6-week partial government shutdown. OU Nightly reporter Leah Smith is live from Will Rogers Airport with more. Leah, what can you tell us?
Kevin, Lyndon, President Trump announced late last week that he would be signing an executive order to pay TSA agents. These workers have been showing up to work without pay for the past 45 days due to an ongoing shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. TSA officials say most employees began to receive back pay today. They also say, quote, TSA officers are grateful to President Trump and Secretary Mullen for their leadership to put money back into the pockets of TSA employees who worked without pay during the ongoing Democrat DHS shutdown. Officials say more than 500 TSA employees quit and thousands were forced to call out of work. While workers should begin returning to work this week, Border Czar Tom Homan says ICE agents will continue to be present at some airports across the country until airports reach full staffing.
I'm working very closely with the TSA administrator and the ICE director to decide what airport needs what. But, you know, God bless the men and women of ICE. So they're doing a job. They're plugging those holes. They're keeping the security of the airport at a high level. We got to keep the airport safe. We got to keep the American people, you know, going through those lines. So, and ICE is helping, you know, shorten those lines and adding security to each and every airport around the country.
Currently, there are no ICE agents being seen here at Will Rogers, but we will keep you updated as we learn more. Reporting from Will Rogers Airport, Leah Smith, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Leah. Now, Lyndon, we saw up and down temperatures this weekend, but we're starting this week with some warm ones.
Yeah, OU Nightly meteorologist Isaac Walters has more on potential fire risk that this can cause. Isaac?
Yes, that wind we currently see right now, gusts pretty high all throughout the state. Really driving that fire risk. Right now we see red flag warnings across the state, the little corridor of wind there. We saw wind gusts in the 30s here in Norman shortly ago. It's moved a little further west. We see the red flag warnings to the west here, really causing that fire threat. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a severe weather threat later on in the show, as well as a potential cool down coming with potential rain. We'll talk about that. Stay with us.
Thanks, Isaac. President Trump has ramped up his threats on Iran's energy infrastructure, sending oil prices spiking. Sutton Parker has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
We begin in Washington, where fears of a longer conflict in Iran led to another jump in global oil prices today. The Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says it is still too soon to tell how the conflict will impact the overall U.S. economy.
Maybe face the question of what to do here. We're not really facing it yet because we don't know what the economic effects will be.
And analysts are warning that if the war continues into June, it could lead to gas prices reaching $7 a gallon. And with TSA agents receiving their long-awaited paychecks, lawmakers in Washington are taking a new look at bills already proposed that would keep aviation funded during a shutdown. The Keep America Flying Act and others have had bipartisan support in the past, but has never made it to the president's desk. Labor unions and airline executives are urging Congress to provide a permanent solution by acting already on the proposed bills. And over the weekend, millions of people participated in No Kings protests. Demonstrators took to the streets across the country Saturday, pushing back on what they call authoritarianism and overreach by the Trump administration. Demonstrations come as President Trump faces increased security over a range of issues, including the war with Iran, which has not been approved by Congress. According to organizers, over 3,000 protests were planned in all 50 states. Kevin, Lyndon, back to you.
Thanks, Sutton. Oklahomans joined in the nationwide protest this weekend.
We'll have more on Norman's march against the Trump administration.
And gas prices have hit a new high.
We'll tell you what record was just broken. Up next.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
No, no, no. Turn it down. Turn it off. Get a hand. Lose the bells and whistles. Drive without distractions.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Back to OU Nightly. Oklahomans joining thousands of No Kings protests in the response to the Trump administration. This Saturday, protesters marched from Legacy Park to Rock Creek Road Bridge. There were marchers in Norman, Oklahoma City, and other places across the state. This was the third series of nationwide No Kings protests.
Gas prices have increased to the highest it's been since 2022. Megan Howarth has that and more in today's Money Matters.
Gas prices rise to $3.99 for a gallon, the highest it's been since 2022. Here in Oklahoma, the average is $3.25. According to AAA, the average price increased by $1.01 since the war in Iran began. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said it's too soon for the central bank to determine how the conflict will impact the overall U.S. economy. Americans' concerns about the economy continues to rise. According to a University of Michigan poll, consumer sentiment drops 6% this month, marking its lowest point since December. This is more than economists predicted. With the war in Iran causing gas prices to rise, 401ks and other investment portfolios are seeing a decrease in value. A proposed rule by the U.S. Department of Labor allows new 401k investment options for more than 90 million Americans. This rule would add alternative investing options for retirement plans, including private equity and cryptocurrency. Employers always had the option to include these investments in their retirement funds, but this proposal aims to make it easier for them to do so. And Project Hail Mary is already the highest grossing Hollywood movie this year, making $54.5 million this past weekend alone. Kevin, Lyndon.
Thanks, Megan. Spring cleaning can be more than just a tidy space. CNN's Mandy Gaither explains why it can also be good for your brain.
long winter, spring has sprung. But if breaking out the vacuum for a new season refresh doesn't sound tempting, there's another reason to do it. It's good for your brain.
Instead of labeling cleaning as a chore, reframe it as an act of self-care.
Clinical psychologist Susan Alberts with Cleveland Clinic says having a tidy space can actually boost a person's mood. She says it's been shown to improve sleep, concentration, and energy levels while decreasing stress and anxiety.
Cleaning provides immediate, visible, and tangible results, which our brain loves. It likes to see evidence of success. This in turn releases dopamine into the body, the pleasure neurotransmitter.
But if your motivation is lacking, Albert says to start small. Try tidying your desk, which could also include digital decluttering, closing out emails, cleaning off your computer's home screen, and avoiding distractions by muting alerts until you're done. If you feel your cleaning momentum begin to shift, Albert says to move on to your bedroom.
Just cleaning your bedroom and making your bed has been shown in studies to improve your sleep by 19%.
Then she says to focus on high traffic areas, the most used spaces in your home.
This is going to help to reduce the stress and conflict in the family. When these high traffic areas are filled with clutter, they create stress for everyone.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Says research suggests just 15 minutes of cleaning can improve mood by more than 50%.
With sunny skies and warm temperatures, spring is in full bloom.
Coming up, we'll take a look at how Oklahomans are enjoying a colorful spring.
And we'll talk about that severe weather risk coming in later this week, as well as that rain that we may be seeing that will give us some relief from that fire threat.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Thank you for joining us here on this warm Monday. We see temperatures there all throughout the metro in those upper 80s there. As we zoom out across the state, a lot of the same of that theme. Warm up there in Guymon, 93 down to Ardmore along that Red River in those low 80s, 82 there in Ardmore. It's been a warm day, a very pleasant day to be outside. Other than the wind, it's been very, very windy. We're also looking at a severe weather risk. I want to emphasize tomorrow night, it's going to be really staying to our west, maybe a scattered shower here and there. But really, the severe weather threat we're looking at right now is on Wednesday. Associated with that, we could see some isolated supercells out in front of a big line. If that line materializes, we'll see less of a tornado threat. But if those supercells stay out in front, we could see a bit of a tornado threat with that. Stay tuned to the rest of this week. We will be talking about that every day leading up to this event on Wednesday. That'll be Wednesday afternoon when that comes in. Let's talk about that timeline, though. We're going to see a potential scattered shower come in Tuesday night. We'll see right there. It's going to be pretty spotty, nothing too serious. And then, but though Wednesday night is going to be that main event. You saw some little pop-up cells here up in front, and then that long line that comes through. That's going to be really the main show. It's going to be how much we see those cells pop out in front, but also we're going to see some pretty brief downpours with that, but it's not going to be very prolonged. That's going to give us a little bit of relief in terms of drought. Not going to be doing much. What we're going to be seeing later this week, though, is more rain that will give us more relief. So that will be a blessing for sure. Allergies right now, though, very high. Tree allergies, very high. Check that out. Mold there down low and grass, medium. So if you're feeling a little sniffly, I'm feeling a little sniffly myself. That is probably the reason for that. Those tree allergies are very high right now. Those wind alerts, though, really contributing, though, to that fire. Right now, we see wind alerts through much of Oklahoma. Here in Cleveland County and Normal, we're seeing that wind alert advisory. And that's really bringing that fire danger out. Really, the red flag warnings are staying to our west, but conditions are still very much in place here for fire weather. And then we're going to see, looking at the next 7 days, though, temperatures staying in those 80s, 70s, dancing around there. We're going to see a cool down, though, with rain on Friday. Friday's going to be that main soaker. That's going to be, we're going to see rain start to come in and really settle in pretty much all day. It'll be off and on, but we'll still see prolonged periods of clouds and rain. And then later on this weekend, we'll see the rain die down into a cool and partly cloudy weekend. Maybe early next week, we could see a good bit of sun. So a little bit cooler into the weekend, but here throughout this week, we'll be seeing pretty rainy and pretty warm outside. So.
Yeah, I've loved the warm temperatures over the last,
while.
You get to roll down the windows, start blasting Kenny Chesney.
Yes,
all that
it already
kind of
feels
stuff.
like
Start
that.
No problem with that.
Yeah, you start wondering if the pool's open, but then you start looking at that rain, and you're like, maybe
yeah,
we'll give it a
definitely
couple
the
more weeks a
lightning.
month.
If there's going to be lightning, thunderstorms, you don't want to be in the pool. But the weather's starting to kind of feel that way, which is definitely exciting.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Of course.
Well, it definitely feels like spring. And speaking of spring, OU Nightly was able to catch the annual Tulip Festival. It's the 4th year of the event, where a vibrant wave of color sweeps across downtown OKC, with more than 60,000 tulips blooming at the Myriad Botanical Gardens. Residents packed the gardens hoping to catch a glimpse of the spring display, but this year many showed up a little too early. Warm weather caused the tulips to bloom ahead of schedule, with many already past their peak by the time the festival began. Still, visitors enjoyed the chance to get a look outside and to take in the music and the vendors that were there.
Nothing but love from everybody that's coming out. This is one of our biggest events of every year, and it's become so big that we've had to put it into 2 weekends, and this is the first time that we've done it in this way. It brings all of the community out, and it's not just about the flowers, it's about coming and celebrating spring.
The event will continue throughout next week. Tomorrow, OU Nightly's reporter Kariana Gamboa will have an inside look at the festival and how one organization is changing lives with tulips.
Well, both OU Diamond squads hit the field over the weekend and had very different results.
Plus, OU men's basketball is getting ready to test their luck in Las Vegas to potentially earn some serious cash.
OU men's basketball faced South Carolina in the Sweet 16 this weekend. We have the story on how their tournament run went and how it turned sour. All this and more up next in sports.
Winter is upon us, and every Oklahoman knows that that means unpredictable freezing temperatures. One of the main concerns with freezing temperatures is the damage they can cause to your home or business should they cause your water pipes to freeze over. Older homes, especially those without proper insulation or that have basements or crawl spaces with exposed pipes, are particularly susceptible to this. Here is Rachel Croft, City of Norman Water Treatment Plant Manager, to show you the proper steps you can take to prevent your pipes from freezing.
The good news is you don't need to run a whole lot of water in order to combat freezing from your pipes. Here's how you do it. Another thing that you can do to help is to open your cabinet doors to make sure that warm air throughout your home is getting to your faucet pipes. But you want to make sure to remove any harmful chemicals that any small children or pets could have the ability to reach.
Following these steps can help save money on your water bill and help to conserve Norman's water supply.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm Jamin Dawson, and it's time for sports. 4-seed Oklahoma women's basketball went into the Sweet 16 matched up with 1-seed South Carolina, a team they defeated earlier in the season. The Sooners fought from behind the entire game, not once getting a hold of the lead. Freshman Aaliyah Chavez led the team with 21 points, followed up by senior Reagan Beers posting 14 points, losing to the Gamecocks 94-68. After the game, Beers reflected on her last game in the Crimson and Cream. She says her best memories as a Sooner come from moments off the court.
20 to 30 years from now, I don't think I'm going to necessarily remember who we beat, who we lost to, who we won. Maybe I will, but I don't think anybody else will. But I am going to remember the relationships that I have made from my time at Oregon State and my time here, the coaching staff at Oregon State, coaching staff here, the people that have just impacted my life in a really phenomenal way.
OU men's basketball will hit the hardwood for the first time in over 2 weeks to compete in the College Basketball Crown Tournament beginning Wednesday against Colorado. Under heavy scrutiny all season, Porter Moser will return next year as head coach and had no fear in his future at OU.
My number one way that gets me through adversity is my faith in the Lord, that knowing that there's nothing he's going to give me I can't handle. And I trust in his path. And I had great guys in the locker room. I have great family, and I have great friends. And there's nothing more, and anybody that knows me, how hard I've driven for this program for 5 years in a transitional period.
First-ranked OU women's gymnastics had 6 members receive All-American honors today from the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics Association. Mackenzie Estep and Addison Fada were honored twice. Kiera Wells and Elle Mueller won first-team and second-team vault. Head coach KJ Kindler says OU has certainly left its mark already in the SEC.
SEC competes at an incredibly high level. But Oklahoma joining the SEC, in particular in women's gymnastics, has elevated everyone in the SEC. I mean, we don't take anything for granted. We know anywhere on any day, especially in the SEC, you've got to be on your game. And never do we underestimate that. But if you look at the finals of SEC, yeah, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Without Oklahoma, you don't have that.
Third-ranked Sooner softball lost their first game in over a month to LSU Saturday and win the Sunday's game in search for some get-back. Top of the first, Caden Wells sets the tone, going yard at her first at-bat of the day. Top of the fifth and 2 on base, Isabella Emery gets a homer for herself, putting the Sooners up 7-2. Ella Parker can make plays in the outfield too. Sooners win the series with this 8-1 win. Oklahoma baseball went into Sunday's game with hopes of avoiding a weekend sweep at arch rival, second-ranked Texas. OU got off to a good start getting on base. Kyle Branch makes it the first. Same inning, Jason Walk gets a base hit towards center field, and the Sooners go up 2-0. OU forced extra innings, but the bats were just too hot for Texas, outscoring us 22-7 over the weekend, winning this game 5-4. 8th-ranked OU tennis took down number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs 4-1 Sunday, extending their win streak to 9 matches and just their second win over a top-ranked program in team history.
Thanks, Jamin. The skies over parts of Australia were taken over by an eerie blood red color over the weekend.
We'll tell you how a tropical cyclone caused the sky to turn after the break.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
I'm Alyssa Campbell at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A former firefighter has been arrested on 8 counts of arson and 1 count of criminal offenses. This comes after grass fires were set in Custer and Dewey County. According to a probable cause affidavit, Skylar Dean Terrell has been taken into custody. Officials say Terrell admitted to starting the 8 fires in Custer and Dewey counties. Lyndon, Kevin, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Alyssa. Well, it's Monday and we got a long week ahead of us. Isaac, can we get another look at the 7-day forecast?
Yes, of course. We're seeing temperatures in those 70s and 80s. We're going to see a little bit of cool down, though, as you'll see on your screen, with those temperatures kind of dripping down into the low 70s, mid 70s there on Thursday for the high. We're going to see those temperatures drop even further, though. The main thing I want to emphasize, though, is that severe weather threat on Wednesday, and then we're going to see pretty off and on rain throughout the entire rest of the week, ending around Saturday morning. So that's really going to set us up there. I want to also emphasize we have weather calls. Scan this QR code for 24/7 updates on weather in the area, only $12 per year.
Thanks, Isaac. Yeah, certainly that time of the year where the weather starts to get really unpredictable here in Oklahoma.
Definitely.
Well, tropical cyclone Narelle hit parts of Washington and Australia, where this video was captured at Shark Bay.
What you see is actually dust and dirt from a dust storm that was kicked up. Isaac, as the meteorologist, what can you tell us about this phenomenon?
Yes, so what you're seeing right now, all that red in the sky, that is actually the iron within the dust that was kicked up, oxidizing in the moist air. It's actually really fascinating. Really a rare occurrence for this to happen, but the iron within that air is oxidizing, giving that rust red looking color. It's really fascinating.
I know weather is pretty strange in Oklahoma, but it's not this strange.
Yeah, I mean, we've had similar things where the air turns certain colors, or things like that, like the sky turning green during a severe thunderstorm and things like that. That is like blood red. That's
pretty intense.
Quite the sight.
Certainly, yeah, very startling. I mean, you walk outside and you think you're in the upside down.
Yes, well, I mean, in the age of AI, I thought that might have been a fake video when I first saw it, but no, that is a true weather phenomenon. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Kevin Daniel.
And I'm Lyndon Potter. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.